And it's about to happen again. Most of the country is going to spring forward.
Well, we all grieve the loss of that cherished hour of sleep. Turns out there are some costs that are even higher.
We're looking at the downside of daylight saving, and that's our featured story at the top of the list. Most of us fall back to standard time in about November and then leap forward sometime in the spring, which has got to be worse, right?
Yeah, it's harder to spring forward for most people.
University of Kansas Medical Center Assistant Professor Olivia Veatch would know. She studied sleep extensively, and she's not alone.
Almost every discipline has done research on daylight savings, evaluating traffic accidents and hospital admissions, and even if we're more likely to hit white-tailed deer when we have the transition to daylight savings time. Spoiler alert, we are.
That study was paid for by the White-tailed Deer Association, so I don't trust it. In the early days of the incandescent bulb, daylight saving was meant to reduce energy consumption by making the dark part of the evening shorter. But now lights are efficient and air conditioning is way more of an energy hog. So
in modern times, daylight savings time can use more energy in the evening hours.
But forget the economic arguments. We're looking at the personal costs of daylight saving. Let's start with the obvious. Every spring, we lose an hour of sleep.
When we spring forward, that's an immediate short-term amount of sleep deprivation,
which then snowballs.
During the first few days following the transition, we have more trouble falling asleep. Our sleep is less consolidated, so people are waking up more during the night, and that ultimately results in more than just an hour of sleep deprivation during the transition.
But wait, it gets worse. Altering our morning exposure to sunlight messes with how we evolved to sleep. When we spring forward,
it's still dark when we wake up.
That causes problems in your brain because
bright light actually enhances our brain's ability to produce serotonin.
Serotonin is a neurotransmitter your waking brain needs to function properly, and
serotonin is what ultimately gets converted into melatonin, and that helps put us to sleep at night. So the more serotonin we get early in the morning, the more melatonin we'll be able to make as we're transitioning into darkness.
So the more bright sunshine we have in that first hour we're awake,
the better we'll be able to go to sleep at night.
So you see the vicious cycle here.
That lack of bright light early in the morning can impact our serotonin production, which then impacts our melatonin and impacts our ability to wake up. It impacts our mood all day, and it impacts our ability to fall asleep at night. So that's ultimately driving more sleep deprivation and sleep problems.
And when everyone is tired all at once, it affects everything.
Cardiovascular events and lapses in judgment. There's even been shown that there's more mistakes in admissions and patient care because people are having trouble keeping focused.
So, what's the best solution?
The best thing for human health would be just to get rid of socially imposed time altogether and just sleep when we feel like we're tired and wake up when we feel like it's time to wake up.
Turns out teenagers have had it right all along. Losing sleep over daylight saving is at the top of the list.